This next video that has come to us for the reaction comes from a very, very popular creator, that being JRM, which, you know, probably needs no introduction. If you don't know who JRM is and you are in the Newbie community, do you live under a rock is my question. But regardless of that, make sure you hit that link that just showed up in the Twitch chat. If you're on YouTube, it'll be down in the description below to like and support, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. Support this creator because regardless if they're big or small, we have to do our part if we're going to be reacting to their content. If you don't, you're a big stinky freeloader and I hate you. Keeping in line with the other videos we've been watching, this video is talking about Dead by Daylight's biggest problem, which, you know, with somebody with 8.2k hours, as you see straight ahead of you, it's going to be fairly interesting to see what their take on what the biggest issue in Dead by Daylight actually is, because they have a boatload of experience, more than most players could ever hope to have in the game. So their point of view on what is wrong with the game is going to be interesting. Go ahead and take a listen.
So in my 8,000 hours of playing this game, please help me, I have noticed a few things that could be considered annoying, like me. DBD, in my opinion, is an amazing game when everything works well. Literally some of the most fun times playing this game. This video isn't gonna be like a super negative video where I'm like, this sucks. I'm not gonna moan about it.
Do you mean 90% of people that create content for this fucking game? You know, there's such thing as toxic positivity. I fucking hate that, but man, this will get fucking annoying, all of you just fucking bitching nonstop about this game, non-fucking stop. You have a personality besides hating Dead by Daylight? Do you? All right, there's some repressed energy coming out here. Do you? Do you have any other personality besides I can't believe how bad Dead by Daylight is? Do you? Or are you just like just the never-ending complaint machine? You know, we've got everlasting gobstoppers from Willy Wonka, just everlasting bitching, everlasting bitchers. That's what fucking like 90% of this community is. Stop playing the game if you fucking hate it. Gosh, grow the fuck up. 90% of content is just like mega like mega negative. Like it's just like the fad to be like, oh, yeah, I hate DBD and behavior is so incompetent and behavior is so stupid. Brother, we have been saying that since ever since I have played this game in 2020. I have seen videos and channels and everything just center of the universe is just complaining about this game. You are not new. You are not doing anything revolutionary. You are not going to make a commentary channel and just like whine about the game and behavior is suddenly going to change all the things because you are copying the 29,000 other channels that are doing the exact same thing. You are not like coming out here and cutting a promo on behavior and it's suddenly going to like change the landscape of the video game. Like, what is the point? No, Bran, we're the chosen ones. I don't know, man. It's just like oversaturation of anything in any genre or community, annoying. This community happens to be just like nonstop complaining. And there's plenty of stuff to complain about in the game. And those thoughts and feelings do matter. But like, gosh, they're just it's just nonstop, isn't it? It's just like, that's all it is. Like, it's just like, I don't know what content to make. I'm just going to complain about the game, I guess. Or complain about this perk, or this sound, or this map. And it's just like, it just gets old. It just gets old. I'm tired of hearing it all the time. Like, we get it. DBD bad. Message received. Understood. Step 1, DBD bad. Step 2, what? We've been at step 1 for the game's entire life cycle. Step 1, DBD bad. Step 2, what? What do we do with step 2? How do we turn this into something constructive or something that matters? We have never hit step 2. Yeah, it's like it's beating a dead horse. No offense, Maurice. It's like, okay, we get it. Step 1, bad. Step 2, what's next? What do we do after that? And there's never an answer. It's just like shouting into the ether. Old man yellow clouds, you know, like, holy moly, we get it. Joe, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. We're doing well today.
Everything. It's just more for my stream. When people ask me what I would change about the game, I'm just gonna link them this video. The first one, in no particular order. Obviously, I play this game a lot, and I do find myself playing against the same people. Not necessarily killers, but the actual same people. In places like the UK,
thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I'm glad it was helpful as I tried to make it to be. I need to update that today after stream.
6-hour gaming session.
The Haddonfield, new Haddonfield, and new rating.
All day.
Oh,
this game is
we work on that tonight, actually.
About learning how they play and kind of countering that. And if you already know what the game is going to be running, who they're going to be playing, how they're going to play, how they like mind game, it just takes away a big part of the game.
People yell at me for this. When I go like, wow, Aura-Eating Huntress again. Everybody's like, well, it's not for slowdown, so shut up. And I'm like, yeah, but if I only ever face Aura-Eating Huntress, it's the same game every time I get Huntress. Like, it doesn't matter that it's not slowdown. It's the same thing. So leave me alone. Remain aspiring zero? Hell yeah, I'm glad. I stream here every day except Thursday and Sunday, and besides Fridays, I am playing Xenomorph. I was playing Xenomorph earlier today. I played it for like most of my 4.5 hours. So you'll mostly find me here playing Xeno. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask.
I feel like maybe they could add a different option so you could choose a different server that you could play on that has acceptable ping, or maybe like a player prevention system so you can't play against the same player twice in a row, just so you can get a bigger pool of players and keep it nice and fresh. Now, this one is, I talk about this a lot, and it's the main reason I'm making this video, just so I don't fall into the trap of talking about this, and I'm sure you know, it is ping. I'm a little bit of a ping princess, I'm gonna lie.
That's why I run Resi so much.
I do, but for
it's a good perk, but I just want to avoid being hit through windows.
Is just doubled, and is higher than any of the...
What? And why is it that, like, I play on East, the East server just goes down all the time? What is wrong with the East server? Why is it just constantly gone? Why am I constantly put on West? That has been a problem since, like, before Larry was released, before Singularity. But it's still a thing in 2024. What is happening to the East server? Why is it constantly gone? Why am I constantly entering a 5-man lobby of all of us being 100+ ping? And that way, like, it's just miserable for all of us involved. They're getting hit through windows they shouldn't get hit through. My projectiles are hard to hit because they're slipping sliding all over the place. It's miserable. Why is this a thing?
Game. Ping is basically how long it takes to send and receive signals.
Exactly, and they admit that East dies all the time.
Like hitboxes. In this game, the hitboxes are actually not that bad. It's all reliant on the killer's connection. Apart from medium volts through windows, they're a bit... Obviously, not everyone has the luxury of having great internet connection, and it's definitely not the player's fault. They just want to play their game. But when you play against someone with bad connection, it just makes the experience kind of pointless. I love the gameplay of greeting pallets.
I say that.
Walls
I say that all the time. Like, when I get a super laggy killer, I'm like, there's no point in playing this match because they essentially have like an extra meter or two of clearance on all their hits that I cannot counterplay. We had that one slinger last Friday that was shooting me behind walls, and I was just like, okay, there's just no fucking point to play because all of his hits, all of his shots are just gonna hit. Like, there's no point to dodge because even if I dodge, he's just gonna hit me anyway. Like, it just ruins the fun. It's just like, I would rather just go next immediately because, like, there's no point to loop because they just have an extra advantage for literally no reason. It's stupid. Why were you getting stuck, Toxic? What was up?
An extra meter of distance, and you can just make that window one more time. But then you have a killer VPNing from Mars to make their hits worse, so they can win easier. Just kind of really destroys the enjoyment for me, and it does happen quite a lot. Maybe it's just because I play the game a lot, and if I didn't play it as much, it wouldn't annoy me. So then again, like, it is kind of my own fault. I get that. But I do wonder if there's anything that they could do so the players that do have good internet connection don't get,
is that new,
punished for it, basically. And when I say the difference between 28 ping and 50 ping, it is literally like playing a different game. Pallets pull down every time. You don't get hit through windows. Obviously, if the killer has bad connection, GG, you know, your game's still gonna suck, but I think it is very, very important in this game. I know some of you gamers play on like 200 ping out there, and you're 10 times better than I am because of it, but I do just think it would make the game a lot more enjoyable
specific
for
has messed up
if it was
collision.
even possible.
There was more messed up collision that we don't know about.
The next one, bad map collision. So in the last point, I was talking about greeting and hugging.
Preach! Preach! Oops, sorry. Preach! Tell him! Tell him! Sorry about that. Tell him! Tell him about the bad collision. Please tell him about the bad collision. This is like the thing that I hate about the game right now. This is the thing that I can't stand that makes me very upset. I play a character that is a 14-centimeter hitbox that I have to thread up, over, and through things. So the fact that the collision is so just irrevocably fucking sloppy and lazy and just nonsensical, it is like the thing that I complain about. It is the thing that I complain about. Like, if collision was fine, you would almost never, ever hear me complain about anything. If collision was fine, I'd be like the happiest camper on the planet. But this is the thing I consistently, even if I'm not mad about it, I comment on once per match. That being said, I play a character with a projectile. I play a xenomorph, right? So it affects me a little bit more than the average person. But like, I comment on collision at least once a game, every single game for like 5 to 8 hour play sessions. So sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, that's not how that works. But other times I'm like actively mad about it because it's happened like 7 times in a row and I lost a whole fucking kill out of it because I've spent so much time in chase hitting thin fucking air because behavior can't be bothered. You're like, I don't care. Oh, fine. Yeah, okay. It is like the thing that I hate the most in this game. If you could, like, somebody asked me once, like, what is the thing, if you were in charge of behavior tomorrow, what would you do? Immediately, I'd be like, I'll fix collision. Or at least get it started. Just get that ball rolling to make things smooth and feel good. Yes, you can shoot over that object. Yes, you can harpoon through that hole. Yes, you can. No, you're not going to hit thin air. Not anymore. Not on my watch. No more hitting thin air. No. No.
And then for whatever reason, there's a random plant put in the way. I'm not too sure if it's intentional for them to be like random stuff for you to get stuck on, but it is very frustrating. Aside from that, there is a lot of parts of some maps where you just get stuck. There's invisible walls and you can't really loop as tightly as it looks like you can. Then your character stops moving because of it. And if you get hit because of that, it can be very frustrating. But
there's a spot on the stairs of Dead Dog Saloon that you just get stuck on both killer and survivor. It's lovely. It's like right by that window. You can bump into it. It's just like a little piece of collision. We don't know where it comes from or why it's there. It just is, and you can bump on it, and it's been in the game forever. Just like little stuff like that. Just like hi Verbal, it's good to see you, friend. Hopefully you're well.
Be so down if the devs wanted someone to go around each map and find the collision that is not quite right. I would literally do that. So the next point is a little bit of a skill issue on my part, I won't lie, and that is I'm slightly colorblind. And of course, it's the color that is most important to
the colorblind settings
which is red.
Fantastic
Playing Survivor is not too difficult at all. The main thing you miss out on is the red stains, sometimes a little bit of auras on maps like the Coldwind Farm. Everything just kind of blends in and it makes it a little bit tricky, but it's still kind of playable. But on the other hand, Killer is just impossible. Scratch marks aren't visible. Pools of blood just are not visible at all.
Sounds like Borgo, except all the fucking time.
Missing out on 50% of the important information, and it was literally like playing the lights out mode. When that game mode came out, I was like, oh, it's so difficult, you don't think? But for me, it was pretty much just like normal DBD, not being able to see scratch marks, not being able to see pools of blood, and Behavior actually have added a colorblind mode, which is a nice acknowledgement, but the only problem is that it doesn't really work.
It's not
so
that
I do
good.
think it might be a good idea to kind of highlight.
I has been trying to talk about that a lot. You should definitely look into her content if you want to see more about why that's not too great.
Maybe give an option to change that to a little bit more seeable color rather than just slapping a filter over the game and it not really doing much. But I know that this is my problem and I don't expect anyone else to do anything just so I can play the game. But it would just be nice to see the information that other players can also see. We're now gonna go into game
bare minimum
optimization. When I
also, by the way, if you're one of those people that says, hey, I would like to be able to see like everybody else or hear like everybody else, and you consider that an advantage, get the fuck off my channel. Please. Confrontational. Get the fuck out. Leave. Not only are you stupid, but you're also really mean. So, like, go away. Like, we're not asking for these people to have advantages. We're asking them to have the bare minimum, the same base level as everybody else. If for some reason your PP is so fucking tiny that you see that as an advantage, get out of my channel, whether it be my Twitch or on the YouTube. Go away. Go away. You're not welcome here. No memes. I know I'm saying it kind of funny, but like, yeah, screw you. Disrespectfully. I was gonna say respectfully. Screw you disrespectfully. No, go away. Winning a Dead by Daylight is not so deep that you're going to deny people a balanced playing field just to enjoy the video game for your 4K or your 4 out. Get out of here.
I have done so many things to make my game run smoothly. The amount of things that I've done, and I will share a few of them with you guys just in case you're having the same problems. For whatever reason, it will just randomly stutter sometimes, but I have found that
it's really bad this patch
in full screen is such a big help. A lot of people playing windowed full screen, and I know the convenience of just being able to tab out, go to the monitor and do stuff, but if you put your game in full screen, it helps so much because your PC is dedicating all of its resources to that game. So that helped a lot. I also deleted all of my shaders of DBD and then set the maximum amount of shaders that could be saved to 100 gigabytes. It might be a little bit stuttery for a while, but when it kind of generates them all, they're saved and they don't have to render in for each game out every single time you load the game again. I think they're actually changing the way that the shaders generate, which is when you first launch the game. Now that they're moving to Unreal Engine 5, which might actually solve a lot of DBD stutters and performance issues.
It's worse. It's actually worse as of day one.
Lowest input delay, which DBD is a bit horrific with, but it means that every single action that you do in the game, it's going to register it a lot faster. The next point. So this point actually leads back to the first one about playing against the same player, but it's actually playing against the same killer back to back. And it might not seem like a big thing, you know, you get the same killer back to back, but when you maybe play against, for example, 6 Huntresses in a row. I personally don't dislike Huntress, but if you're playing against the same thing over and over and over again, it gets old very, very fast. And I know some gamers might just come home, play an hour of DBD a day, and none of this stuff bothers them. And if that's the case, that is great. But for someone that plays a bit more, playing against the same killers back to back just gets very stale, and people are actually complaining about this issue when it came to maps. Players playing on the same map back to back to back to back to back just got really, really old, and I think that they should follow through with this and do the same thing for maybe killers, just to give everyone a little bit of variety so no one's getting sick of one particular killer, which does happen on DLC releases. There's a new map, new killer, new survivor, and for the next 2 weeks, it's just the same builds, the same killers, and I get that, you know, everyone wants to try out the new stuff, which does make sense. But after those 2 weeks, because those people have seen those killers that much, they're already bored of them. But I think eliminating the frustration of playing against the same killer back to back to back would definitely prolong the longevity of players' enjoyment towards the game. So things are not going to get as old as quickly. Also, people do have a lot of concerns about this when it comes to queue times. They just take whatever they can get. They honestly don't mind. But even just an option for players that do want a bit of variety, I'm sure they would not mind waiting an extra 2 minutes for a different variety and killer. So this next point for me is definitely towards the top of the list, and that is the Huck screams. They are so loud. So having your game volume up in this game is a good idea. You can hear footsteps, sound cues from killer. If you are playing killer, stuff like footsteps, breathing, it is very, very important.
Footsteps? FUT steps?
Directly into the ear canal, and it is the most ear-piercing sound ever. It may be a good idea to just turn them down a little bit just so they're nicely equalized with everything else, or even just an option to turn them off when you're hooked in general.
I mean, they can't even like balance the sound of survivors' injury noises because apparently they couldn't figure out a way to do it without breaking the game. I don't think it's happening. Hey, you can go into a program and lower the audio and put the file back in, right? It's that simple? Apparently not. Apparently it's worse than that. What did they do? How deep does this like spaghetti hole go that you can't just take file out, lower volume, put file back in? Like what? How deep does it go?
So to anyone that asks me on my stream, these are the changes I would make, and I'm not trying to bitch about everything in the game. I do love this game, but for me, these things would just make it a whole lot more enjoyable. And I've tried to expand as much as I can in each category, but yeah, see you all on stream, gamers.
Yeah, I was very, very happy. I was very, very pleasantly surprised that there was not a whole lot of like, you know, killer versus survivor balanced conversations, but mostly just like game functionality conversation, which is really nice and very, very constructive. Usually when it comes to like a, you know, I hate this about the game or things I would improve about the game conversations, usually what side they main comes through and their bias comes through very strong. They mostly focus on like, I hate pop pain rants and I wish it was just dead. I wish that artist had all of her teachables blown up from orbit. You know, so I'm glad I was mostly focused on like, hey, colorblind can be better. Collision needs to be better. Maybe a way to introduce more variety into your matches. Like all very, very constructive and wonderful stuff. I was very, very happy and pleasantly surprised by these changes. The game needs to make killers stop chasing me. It's just like, it goes to show that like when people like play the video game and enjoy it, they don't make extremely outrageous off the wall statements. They make pretty tame and normal statements and don't argue and complain and bitch. It's crazy. Almost like you shouldn't play games you don't fucking enjoy. Man, I'm tired. Say we take off and nuke the artist from orbit. The only way to be sure. There you go. There you go. We love that movie. Love that movie. Where's my Hicks Legendary? Where is my Hicks Legendary? Where is it, Behavior Interactive? Give it to me. They're releasing a new documentary about aliens soon, the making of aliens. Make it happen. Make it happen. Drop it. I will play it. I will play it, and I will play it. Love it. Make it happen. Tarmina must die. But overall, very lovely video, and I would agree with really all these changes. If all these were implemented in the game tomorrow, I'd be like, sick. If they don't affect me, it makes somebody's experience better. That's great.